everyone. I'm Ryan Sprankle. Welcome to the Checked Out Retail Stories podcast. I'm here with my sidekick, my brother for 40 years almost.
It is a big year. Ryan, super excited today. We're actually stepping out of the traditional aisles and checkouts, and we're going to the stylistic world of salons and the new way that they're going to business with one of our great guests today. Can't wait.
Yeah, and you know, we can't get any guests going without recognizing our great sponsors who make this all possible. www.paskillalliance.org. You know what? If you want to know where to play, how to play skill games, go to their website and make sure that it's powered by Pace-O-Matic if you're playing a game. These guys are the best of the best. They're credible, and they do a great job in the industry. Thanks for all the support.
Guys, and as always, skill, not luck, baby.
Baby.
Woo!
Skill, not luck. Baby.
Ryan, I'm also excited about we're on Spotify.
It's a big deal, man. We made it.
We always talk about technology. I know we'll get in the rest of the opening, but we always talk about technology and how, like, I'm a slight one generation ahead of you, so it's a different technology level. Spotify is like 2 generations ahead of me. It's crazy we're on it, though. Super excited.
No, it's great, and it's so cool that people are viewing it on Spotify, YouTube, I mean, everywhere. It's really, really been cool to see the progression of the podcast. It's cool that our stories are relatable and people want to hear them.
Big fan of Utz, by the way. Carmen's a big fan.
Carmen's great, man.
Huge fan.
He's great, and you know what? He's just an industry guy. He's been around a long time. He's seen it all. He's worked his way up from the bottom to the top. The dude is the dude, man.
He's a big fan of our corporate word of the week. For those who don't know, he's an independent contractor. So when you're independent, you have to deal with corporate. It's a weird world where, like, you still have to know, but, like, you can get away with a lot more stuff than you can if you're, like, actually working for the man.
But a guy like that, you gotta just, because he's like a dad story. He went from, just a Joe working around whole way up through. And now, if you want to sell us chips in Western PA, baby, you're going through Carmen.
Oh, he's one of my favorite vendors. But Ryan, today is exciting. We have a packed script. We have a great guest. We have Shelbie coming up. But we're also talking about some of the crazy stories of her life, including your Memorial Day parade speech, which is still legendary, and Mother Day's ordering rush. A couple other things are happening. We can't wait. A lot going on.
Let's get right into it. What's happening this week? Mother's Day ordering and my new outlook on labor. Doug and I have had some, at times, maybe recent times, heated discussions about, whose methods are right, whose analysis is right. I mean, as brothers, in business, it gets hairy sometimes. But I will admit this, and I'm going to say this for the record because he says I never say it. Doug is right on labor. I'm going to leave a pause.
You're welcome.
Forever, I was under the impression that I was doing it right, man. I mean, in the world of retail, everything's measured, and that makes it nice because if there's a problem, you can always go to a number. You can always go to the number to the person and try to fix it. Labor, as a percentage of sales, traditionally in small retail establishments like ours, is about 10%. Is what you try to go 10%. Walmart forever went 8%, but the thing the independent didn't realize, including this dude right here, when you're fighting a guy like Walmart, they're at 8%, but they're selling like TVs and stuff. They're selling all this stuff. So they're at 8%, but yeah, a lot of it's low touch, to use one of our corporate words of the week from the past. And Doug kind of bought into, before I did, the idea of, okay, we're going to be perishable, we're going to be fresh, we're going to be customer service oriented, and we're going to go 11%. We're going to put the best people forward, and we're going to give it all we got, and we're going to rely on our customers buying fresh products to offset it and hopefully have enough sales to pay the bills. And it's worked.
It's always a sweat. It's always a sweat when you're trying new things. And again, everybody has, let's face it, everybody has history. Everybody has skills that they've defined over a long period of time. And a lot of people, including myself, doesn't like change. So if you're not really ready for it, it sneaks up on you. But definitely having a percentage based off of your sales is a big deal. And if you start thinking about your entire business that way, is this cost this cost this, there's only, what's the only thing you can change in your business that is actually adjustable?
Labor.
Labor's it. Everything else is somewhat, utilities, you can't
Unless you want people shopping without the lights on. Okay, everybody, for the next hour, we're going to try to all save money together to help us put more money into cost of goods. So we're going to shut off the lights. You know, we ask to use your phones or flashlights, whatever's most handy.
Can you imagine you going to a store and you're just there with the baby Char and Bran? You're like, the guy's like, hey, here's your flashlight. And you're like, what's this for? You're like, oh, you'll see. Lights go off.
You're like Adult Swim. It's like the Adult Swim of our industry. It's like instead of Adult Swim, it's like, hey, guys, we're going to take an hour and we're all going to save on electricity. But don't worry, we're going to give you an extra 50 cents off a Tide next 3 weeks.
Man, I just caught myself. I was going to have a Midnight Madness sale where you have to bring your own flashlight to shop the store. Can you imagine the retail theft?
Actually, I'm going to agree with you twice. I think it might be an amazing deal. And in fact, not to get on a tangent, but you guys like our stores. So Dad, actually, when he worked as a union butcher, have you heard the story?
Pajamas.
Huh?
What was it, pajamas?
Yeah, tell it. Have you heard the story?
All I remember is that you had to wear pajamas to get the deals.
Yeah, the deal was they had a midnight mat. It was an independent grocer in Bellwood, Pennsylvania, in the middle of the state, between Altoona and State College, circa 1974. And the dude was like us now. He was willing to do anything to try to generate some traffic. Midnight Madness sale. And his store was normally open to like 8 or 9 like ours. From 11 to like 2 in the morning. It was a Midnight Madness sale. You had to be there at those times. You had to wear pajamas or some form of night attire to get into the store. And he had these crazy, blockbuster deals. And all the employees were in pajamas, maybe an apron or something for the prep department. And Dad said it was like a unbelievable sale. So, let's just keep that one in the chamber. It sounds crazy, but I mean, it might be crazy good,
I like the idea of disco balls and flashlights.
I mean, in 1974, man, I mean, you had a lot of chest hair. You had a lot of hair in general. I mean, there might have been, somebody probably did have a disco ball in 1974.
They weren't going to the Walmart and getting a nosebleed whacker.
Yeah. There's a bonus story for you. Bonus story for you. But, it's time, guys, for this week's retail stereotype. And it is the Pinterest perfectionist. Doug, tell the crowd about the Pinterest.
We've all experienced this, especially it actually happens. And this week, guys, just so you know, the theme is hair salons. It's hair salon myth busting. Shelby's up next. Super excited about that. But it's about hair salon people. They'll come in with this, and it's happened in the old days. In the old days, you used to have a magazine that you'd find, because you didn't really have phones with cameras. You bring a magazine and say, I want to look like this guy. I want to be like this guy. I want to be like this guy on TV or whatever. That's the best action. We're like, hey, I saw Tom Cruise in a movie 15 years ago. I want to look like him in that movie. And you're like, what? You're like, what's going on? So the Pinterest perfectionist is the person that uses modern Pinterest that's digitally enhanced, probably AI, and not even a real person. And if it is, highly enhanced. So they bring that photo in, they want to look just like that. But the biggest thing now is the hair color. They want to take somebody that's like super, super dark black hair and make it like gray.
Well, it's funny that they want to do that, but like there's all this other stuff involved. Well, people don't realize now actually people have more information. At the time, people didn't know how all of a sudden Matthew McConaughey was thinning, the hair was thinning in a movie in 2003. All of a sudden, 2010, he's got this flowing mane. They didn't realize he was sent over to Czechoslovakia for about 6 months, undergoing tons of individual thousands of hair transplant follicle situations, personal chef.
Did you see the turkey pictures of the guys on the turkey flights? There's literally a bunch of bald dudes going over and the same flight coming back. Everybody gets out of the hospital at the same time. They all have their heads wrapped.
Well, you'll experience it. Hopefully you don't, actually. You have a nice head of hair. I mean, maybe on the front you got a little bit.
Oh, I got some peaks.
But, that's going to take a long time. You'll be all right. But, the thing is, when you're 40, every decade you have a milestone. And when you're 40, all of a sudden you start losing hair as a guy, whether it be the crown, whether it be the front. Mine's in the crown. And, you get served all these things. And, I'm looking at all these potential ways to avoid the situation. And I'm like, Like, yeah, you could take 15 pills, but it causes, sudden death, high blood pressure, erectile dysfunction, all this wild stuff, or you could go to Turkey and get like literally have people like just inject hair that may not grow or may not grow. I mean, it's amazing, all these like remedies. I mean, you just gotta like go with it, man. No matter what it is. I do think like you just kind of gotta go with it.
Oh no, you gotta give in.
And then you go to a great place like Shelby's, and she takes whatever you got and makes the best of it.
Yeah, if I ever book a flight to Turkey, please ask a lot of questions and make some judgmental comments because I'm not going. But no, it's crazy. They, also beyond just the physical appearance of it, people don't realize how expensive like high-end hair salons have for products. Shelby, a little short, Shelby coming up, talks about the price of hair products. It can be upwards of $100 just for the physical ingredients to make your hair the way it needs to be. And if you look at it, like they'll come in and be like, I want this haircut. All right, that's $700. What? And your hair grows out. I mean, beard grows out, everything grows out, so you get all this done, and you can't even do it. Hey, Uncle Jack's home.
There's the dog, everybody. Actually, let's take a moment to talk about the dog. Poor dog.
Poor Faith.
Doug's dog, Faith, longtime great member of our entire family. She just passed away, and it was great because she was key. It reminded me of Pedro with us. Pedro passed a couple years ago, but Faith was with you the whole way through, all of your houses, all your people, and now you got Hope up there, who's solo acting it. So when people come home, she gets a little extra excited.
Oh yeah, 100%. So it's a good thing.
It's a good thing. I mean, it's a good thing. She's excited. So we just shared Doug's dog Hope greeting Uncle Jack on the way home. But we're talking about all these things like the care, the amount of money that goes into care, and like from somebody like Shelby, I think it's really cool, and the viewer's gonna really like her perspective on how her approach is towards taking care of the customer. And let's face it, all business is about taking care of the customer, and she goes above and beyond to take care of the customer. And to your point, and you don't think about this sometimes, but it's like high stress. Like that customer sitting in that chair is maybe she's looking at $80 to $100 profit on that. But all the care, the labor that's going into that customer, the products that are going to that customer, if that thing goes wrong, Shelby's out. Oh, it's high stakes. Every customer's high stakes. They might be talking about whatever, the weather or whatever, but in reality, that needs to go right for her.
The margins are very narrow. They're very narrow margins, and it's hard to make money. So every time someone makes an adjustment, and the last thing I want to mention about before we talk into, obviously corporate word of the week, is the fact that people don't realize your hair is a direct reflection of your maintenance of your body, your scalp, and everything else. So if you go in there and you haven't showered in a couple of days, last time you had omega-3s was when you ate fish at the fish dinner at the fire hall. In March, there's a lot of issues that could happen that obviously also directly affect the hair coloring, all the processes, because again, once you get to the higher level, it's not iron based, it's not crazy based, it's all natural ingredients. So it's harder to actually achieve those high end colors.
Yeah. And going back to the Pinterest perfectionist, which this is all part of it. Don't get caught up in what you see online. If I looked at every 45-year-old guy like Tom Brady online and judged myself by Tom Brady, I mean, I wouldn't be here. I'd be like, I don't know. I'd be putting myself into some kind of a situation. Like, those people are highly edited. Those people are highly helped to become that. Just be a moderate version of yourself.
I'm more of a Chris Moneymaker guy myself. I look at him when he was 35. I'm like,
yeah.
I want to be that guy.
I mean, I do. I think we've talked about Moneymaker before, but he changed poker forever. Look up Chris Moneymaker. It's a homework assignment.
Real name.
Yeah.
Real name.
Yeah, he's changed the poker world forever. Doug, what is budget shock?
Budget shock is part of the same thing. It's still part of our perfectionist, but they get through this whole process. They get through the whole conversation, and they're like, it's how much? $700. And they're like, nah.
Yeah. And, just like we said, think about it. Don't be that Pinterest, just be moderate. Do your best. Be 45, 35, 55. Just be you and, try your best.
Embrace the hair loss.
And now it's time, everyone, for the origin story. Doug, do you remember when we were kids? Do you remember going to Pap and Nan's to visit, or going to Uncle Ed's or Aunt Pam's to visit when Mom and Dad would go away? Do you remember those visits?
Oh, the journey.
Do you remember that?
Yeah.
You were little.
Yeah, like we'd go like you're talking about for like a week one?
Yeah, like when Mom and Dad would go away for a weekend or something, we'd go to one of their houses to get babysat or whatever like that. You remember Aunt Pam and Uncle Ed's? Do you remember that? Or were you too little?
No, the big hill with the motorcycle, and they also had the little side by ski. Like we sat on, and you just like went down the hill 1,000 miles per hour.
Yes.
Yeah, it was good times.
It was always just nice, and people probably relate to this when you're a kid, and your parents want everything to be perfect, and they're like on you, and they want everything to be done right. When you go to like uncles or you go to grandparents or something like that, it's always a little more laid back. It's like, hey, you want to take your big wheel down that hill? Yeah, you'll be fine. I'm sure it'll be fine. It'll work out all right. Oh, you want to go for ice cream? Let's go for ice cream. I mean, it was like, you got a little bit extra there.
I got the crap beat out of me at Uncle Ed's one time.
How?
He taught me how to ride a bike. So like I didn't know how to ride without training wheels. It's a big story. So remember at Uncle Ed's, was it his father-in-law's house at the big garage?
Oh yeah.
Big hill.
Aunt Pam's dad, Ken.
Yeah, big on the back of the garage.
He introduced Uncle Ed and Aunt Pam, by the way.
Oh, truck driving.
Yeah, they knew each other through truck driving. He introduced Uncle Ed, and the rest is history.
That's crazy.
Yeah, big Ken.
So the hill.
Ken and Gloria. Sorry, go ahead.
My God, the guy's a library.
Sorry. They're good people.
Hey,
yeah,
and their third cousin, Sally, who went to Harvard, and then...
I don't remember the third cousin.
Okay.
They were good people, though. You bring back good memories. Go ahead. Sorry.
No, it's all good. Remember the hill behind the big garage?
I do.
Okay. Uncle Ed was in the garage working on something with his father-in-law, and he's like, I was there for a week, and he's like, hey, you know how to ride a bike, right? I'm like, yeah, I know how to ride a bike. He's like, oh, I think there's a couple extra bikes. I'll put some air in the tires. I never ride a bike without training wheels. So I'm going on the back. I mean, that's a hill. It's grass.
Oh, yeah.
It's a field. There's probably tires back there. I mean, all I remember is just going, ah, boom.
And you just went with it.
And the bars just ripping into my chest, and like me flying over the bars a couple times. I'm like all beat up, bloody. And Uncle Ed's like, what's the matter? I'm like, I never rode a bike without training wheels. He's like, what? So then he showed me how to do it.
Wow. Even at 5, you were willing to go with a story until you got bloody. Yeah, shocking.
I'm sticking with it. I'm sticking with my story.
But yeah, it's a great story. That's a great story. I didn't realize that. The funny thing is Uncle Ed taught me how to ride a bike. In downtown Bellwood, I was like 6 years old. We were at some kind of a gathering that I think it was one of the situations where he was there, and it was actually near the store we're talking about with the Midnight Madness. It was downtown Bellwood. And we're there, and I must have had my bike there, whatever, and I don't know if he took the training wheels off or whatever, and I don't know if he was just trying to avoid whoever's house it was we were at and just have a few beers while looking like he was doing something else. If that's the case, Uncle Ed, hey, I understand. And I'm glad because he worked with me for like a long time. Like I'm a slow learner. And, a long time. It takes a lot to get through to my brain, as you know. And we kept at it. And by the end of the day, I was riding a bike. So Uncle Ed, that's funny, man. All this time we didn't know Uncle Ed. Thanks, Uncle Ed. I still know how to ride it, man. I'm still a bike riding stallion to this day. What a great origin story. How funny is it that we both had the same guy teach us? We didn't know it.
That's weird.
It's very strange.
Huh.
It's cool though. It's a great origin story.
Shout out to Uncle Ed and Aunt Pam.
Shout out. And now it's time for corporate word of the week. This baby, it's catching traction. People talk about the corporate word of the week all week. All week, every week. And it always pops out on the clips. So this week's corporate word is line of sight.
That's an epic word. And the history on it originally was actually a war term. Pre-formation, early 20th century, basically it talks about the big picture or your effective line of sight in the military as far as your range and everything else. But then, as we know, in 2000s, the Wolf on Wall Street days, it became a very, very corporate term.
No, it did. And, the line of sight is it within your realm? So, if it's one of those things that can be used like passive aggressively, like most corporate words we found.
So many are. I feel like the corporate world is just a bunch of children just saying,
It really is. I mean, it truly is. Like, Brand has been to multiple corporations. So I experienced firsthand what's happening in each corporation. And it's all the same game. And I remember Dad saying a long time ago to me, like, no matter if you're running a corporation where everybody's making $100,000 a year, or you're running a store, or you're running this, or you're running that, or you're running a team of horses, doesn't matter. If you get more than one or two things involved, they're going to be fighting. There's going to be infighting. There's going to be, he did, she did, he's not doing, she didn't do. It's just a natural progression. I mean, and the funny thing is with line of sight is it can be used that way. Like if you know that Joni should have had an answer for something, or Jimmy should have had an answer for something, and you know that, but that they maybe don't. Oh, Jimmy, were you able to get those reports? Oh, no. Oh, well, if you don't mind, could you get that in your line of sight for the near future?
Here, try that with me once.
Hey, Doug, maybe. Hey, Doug, market study. There's a market study analysis out there. If you wouldn't mind getting the right analysis in your line of sight in the near future so we can go over it intelligently, I'd appreciate it.
Well, Ron, I'm glad you brought that to my attention. What it is in my my portfolio for today, but the financial incentive to actually execute your strategic plan really doesn't align correctly. So therefore, I'm going to have to respectfully ask that we redirect our focus and our goals.
Game, set, checkmate, match point.
Oh, I'd murder it. They'd hate me.
Well, it's funny about what you just said, your response. They do those kind of responses. And here's how crazy corporate has become. So they say a passive aggressive initiator like line of sight to get the whole pot stirring. Then somebody does usually come up with an answer very similar to what you just said to kind of overwhelm the person with words so that they just shut down. But here's the crazy thing. Corporate has found a way around this now because this was happening and it was causing so much disturbance throughout the situation. They now have every single conversation, every team, everything run through AI. And it kicks out a literal recap for everybody to see. It's a shared file of the entire meeting verbatim. Every word that's in that meeting. So when you go into a corporate meeting now, and even small corporations, you go into a corporate meeting, you know that not only are you being recorded, there's literally notes being taken verbatim of everything that's said. And then here's the crazy thing. Talk about corporations. So glad that we're not in that. But now people are spending hours when they should be spending time with their families in the evenings, delving through the notes to see if they can catch somebody on something. And here's the crazy thing. All the notes, admissible in a court of law.
Wait, what?
Yes, because you sign off that you are aware that whatever you say is being, so literally right now we're in the podcast, everything we say is going out to the universe. We know that.
Yes.
And we're okay with making some mistakes. But in corporate world, man, once that team meeting starts, it's the equivalent of being in court with the lady.
Stenographer.
Yeah.
It's a great word.
What is that?
Stenographer.
Is that what they're called?
Yeah. You know how I know?
Huh.
I had to pay for a bunch in Saxonburg.
They're amazing, though. They're just how they keep talking.
Well, it's shorthand, too. Did you notice how the typewriter is this big?
No.
It's
I
not-
just noticed they're
No, it's not even full size.
magicians.
Well,
You feel like being testing them. Oh. Hi.
I just want to use the word allegedly 50 times.
Allegedly.
You know what?
Line of sight, though. What a word. Line of sight. Doug, I think we need to get a better corporate vision in our line of sight. No, not really. Actually, our corporate vision's, I think, pretty solid.
Oh, yeah. Like I said before.
The high level stuff's there.
The problem is you have two base monkeys over here. We're all trying to fight over a banana that we don't even want.
I love it.
It's like this. I want the banana. You're like, no, I want the banana. I'm like, none of us really want that banana.
To put in perspective, Doug and I had an altercation earlier, a conversation. We'll call it a corporate conversation, high level corporate conversation. And
I think you put a hole in my wall.
no, there's no holes in the wall. We've gotten past that, thankfully. But no, but at one point, this was actually said in the room. This is how ridiculous it gets. Yeah, your brothers, you know. But this was said. We are sitting on a potential gold mine and we're fighting over who can shovel coal the quickest. I mean, that's funny.
That is a
Family
great
business,
line.
everybody.
That's a great line. I'm just glad that we didn't have to like cancel the episode today because we're busy trying to recover from our emotions.
We fought through it.
Speaking of fighting through, you want to hear a fighter? Our guest up next, Shelbie Moser, hometown girl turned into a monster's amazing salon owner. The salon's a beautiful place. It's a place where you can be different. It's a place that is amazing to shop at, amazing to be a part of, and it's right here on the hometown that she grew up on.
And the name, Lightning Hair Lounge, that's worth a gong hit. Remember the thrill of your first childhood game, maybe tic-tac-toe? Genuine Pennsylvania Skill Games captures that excitement, offering easy-to-play, win-every-time experiences at your favorite local spots. Imagine a game where a little skill consistently turns credits into cash prizes. A game you can enjoy with others and even help them win. No need to just imagine. Genuine Pennsylvania Skill Games, championed by the PA Skill Alliance, are real. Go to paskillalliance.org for more information. Hi, everyone. Normally we talk about what's happening behind the aisles, behind the walls, in the back rooms. But today we are talking about a product that's transformation and a brand that's a lifestyle.
Guys, we went up to Main Street right here in Saxburg. We found Shelbie Moser, owner and visionary behind Lightning Hair Lounge, which creates not only just a lifestyle choice, but it's also a lounge, and it's an amazing place to go to fully engage and live full throttle.
We're going to explore the bridal industry, the madness that goes behind everything that Shelbie does in her industry, and how she has battled an intense field and come out on top.
Shelbie, thanks for sitting down with us today. Really appreciate being on the show. Welcome.
Thanks for having me. That was a great intro.
We try. So
Glad you liked it.
For those who don't know, we just talked about it a little bit earlier in the show. You're from the area.
Born and raised, from the area.
Awesome. So before we get into the questions, what inspired you to take a Main Street staple like a hair salon and turn it into this amazing lounge, amazing design? People are inspired when they go there. It's just part of it's a cultural revolution. What inspired you to do all this?
So the reason why I opened my salon was whenever I was really young, I actually wanted to move to LA. I had these huge dreams and I traveled the country. So I definitely probably don't look like I'm from an extremely small historic town, but I love that. And so I had this dream to move to LA, but I had my pet pigs, Max and Marla. I have 2 pet mini pigs. And so you're not taking pigs to Los Angeles. And so I just got to a point in my career that I was like, how can I bring like something different to the area that I live? And so that's how I came up with Lightning Hair Lounge. And I worked in multiple different salons, but they never had everything I was looking for. And like I said, I have small town roots with big city dreams. And I've been almost to every 50 state and all of the major cities. And I love the hustle and bustle and like just that energy that you get there. But the older I get, I love the energy you get from a small town too. And so I really just meshed everything I loved from being in a small town and my roots, and then all of those big city dreams into the salon.
That's awesome.
That is. Let me ask you this. When you got into it and you were doing the planning, when you made the shift to lifestyle and lounge concept, what was the first thing you changed about the physical environment to make sure clients felt like full throttle, let's go, as they walked in the door?
Oh, I love that. So, so I went to lifestyle as well because as I was opening the business, I had a business coach and it was so much more than just business coaching. And I was personally struggling with my mental health and she was really helping me overcome depression, anxiety, burnout, like all this stuff. And so I was like, this is what I'm doing for people, even though we're not coaching in the salon chair, we are transforming how clients feel. And so we've had quite a few evolutions through the years. and a couple rebrands. And whenever we really found our true identity of living life full throttle and feeling electric and being bold, bright, and beautiful, we just added more colors and uniqueness. And I think things that like stand out, like our lightning bolt walls. Everyone knows our lightning bolt walls. And then we just added touches of brightness. And in the world right now, everything is like nude and tan. And it's like that's just like so trendy, and like matcha green, which I love matchas, but I'm like the world needs color. And I think I'm also a Christian, so like Lightning Hair Lounge came to me just like out of nowhere. Jesus struck me with it. And so but now all these years later, as the brand has evolved, I feel like human beings are like lightning. Like each individual is one of a kind. We're born to be bold and bright, and every single person is beautiful. And to me, that's what like a bolt of lightning is. Everyone is unique, like one of a kind, and that's how humans are. So we get to enhance everyone's uniqueness in our chairs.
I think it's great because the thing I like is, inspired through the mental health journey. And, everybody has their own mental health journey and things they have to overcome. We were jokingly, but not jokingly, we did it in a funny way. But a couple of weeks ago, I have anxiety. I have panic. I get streaks of panic and anxiety. And I had a panic attack and in the middle of the night. And I decided at that point it was a good idea to rebrand everything without telling Doug as far as the podcast goes. So it was a whole thing on that. But in the end, though, I found in my life, my anxiety and panic, usually it motivates or leads to good things, whether it be healthier eating, whether it be ideas, whether it be empathy towards others with, mental health, disorders and problems. So, I mean, do you feel like that's like helped you to be able to relate to more customers and have like a more personal relationship with your customers?
Yeah, I think so. Cause I think even when I was in like the depths of depression, I was known as like the bubbliest, most happy person, and no one knew what I was really struggling with. So I think going through just a dark time, no matter what your dark time is, it helps you have compassion, because everyone thinks you're one way, but then behind closed doors, you're another way. And every single person, like that could be their reality.
Have you noticed with your, obviously your personalities, and I met you when you first came into town. Well, first came in town, but I met you when you started opening up the lounge. Have you noticed, through your energy and through that culture that you helped develop, that you've helped others rise up within your industry, working with you or, around you? It seems like there's some really cool people that work up there.
Yeah, I think so. I think we have a great community, and I think it's really cool. Like, there's many other salons on Main Street, and whenever I was moving, because I used to be over on Route 8 towards Butler, and then I moved to Saxonburg about 2.5 years after I already had the salon, and everyone asked me, like, aren't you scared of the competition? And I was like, no, I don't believe in competition at all. It's community over competition, and every single salon has its own different atmosphere. And I always say people that go to those salons probably don't want to come to ours, and vice versa. And there's nothing wrong with that. Everyone has hair. And so there's like plenty of heads of hair to go around. And I've had the other salons send people our way because the client wanted like purple hair or pink hair or something. And they're like, no, you need to go to Lightning. And I just think that's super cool.
I'm glad you said about the products. So in our world, it's all about retail products, all about how we, market those products to the world. It sounds like by shifting, from selling products to selling identities, it's created an opportunity for you to drive, your business forward, but also to incorporate its own culture and its own following. What are some of the ways that you do that, from beyond the chair?
Yeah, so I would say it starts with our team and my hiring process. So you cannot join my team if you do not share the same values and mission and vision that we have. And it doesn't mean yours is wrong. It's just like you're not in alignment with ours. And my one business coach, she'll always picture like a rowing boat, and like if everyone is rowing in the same direction, you will go a lot faster to get to where you want. And so making sure that everyone on the team is rowing in the same direction and we're all in harmony. And I think that's really how we've like paved the way of this path of like our identity and what we're doing, because we all have the same thing in common. And I'm not forcing people to believe in this. People are finding us because they want to join because we have that shared value in common.
Let me ask you this. That's very refreshing to hear, because I feel like a lot of people that are starting business and owning a business, they just don't make that connection. How important what you just said is. It's so important. But walk us through the tiered level system and your employee retention system. Is it, I mean, obviously it stems from what you just said, but like a little more in depth on it.
Yeah. So, like, once you go through the hiring process, so we do a phone interview first, and you can tell a lot from over the phone. And so then from the phone interview, it's only like 15 minutes. Like, I go through, I have my standard questions, and from there, like, how you answer the questions and, like, every little detail you can tell just something about this person. And then from there, we'll do an in person, and then they'll come in for about like 45 minutes then they come in and shadow. They shadow for 2 hours in the salon with my team, with clients, and they have a dress code that I tell them to come in. So that's a step we're looking out for. And then from there, they'll come back in if that went well. And then we'll sit down, talk about our expectations, the training program. So then the training program, that is designed to get the stylist from where they're starting to where they want to go. So I'm looking for hairstylists that truly want to build a career. If this is just a job for you, this is not the salon for you. I want you to be with me for a long time. I believe there is so much untapped power in this industry. And I just have like such high standards for hairstylists in the beauty industry in general. So you go through the training program. It goes anywhere from 3 to 6 months. It just depends on like where you are in school, the comfortability. But really, I try from the moment they graduate school, within 3 to like 4 months, they're already on the floor taking clients, and we ease them in. So they're taking first we do mannequin work, and then we do models of family and friends. They cannot be salon clients. And then we'll do non-chemical services, sprinkle in some easy chemical services, and then hair cutting. And so when you test out of those, let's say non-chemical services, those are super simple, very little risk. And so then once they test out of those, they start taking clients for blowouts, conditioning treatments. So then they can start building their clientele as they're in the training program and get comfortable being on the floor, because it's super intimidating coming out and then being thrown a person. And so we really ease them in. And then from there, yeah, we do have a level system that we call it our career path. So this is where you're starting. This is where you can go. And they can move through it as fast as they want. So they can have 2 level jumps a year. And so if they're hitting their KPIs, then they can, level jump. But every KPI does have to be hit for them to be able to level jump. And that's how they get their increases, pay raises, stuff like that.
I love the amount of time and effort that you've put into the researching and understanding the algorithms and all the numbers behind of what you do. What was the inspiration to do that? Traditionally when people think of, booth rentals and other things, the tactics that have been used in the past to get people to come in and be in your salon, you've taken that out the window and said, listen, we're going to train, we're going to promote, we're going to support. I love the numbers. Can you walk us a little through that a little more?
Yeah. So I've been blessed with a business coach from the salon world since the moment I opened my salon. So I tracked my own personal numbers from the very start. And I have very big dreams with the salon. And I always knew I wanted to build a business versus a job. So I want to have a company that can run when I'm not there, and everyone on my team is totally fine and are empowered to go to work and do what they love, but they don't want to have their own business. Like they want the luxury of going to, their career. I don't want to say work. I never say like, oh, I have to go to work today. I'm always like, I get to go to the salon today. Yeah, like they get to show up and do what they love and then go home and sleep at night without a bajillion thoughts of, like, what am I going to do tomorrow and all of this stuff. And so, yeah, like I've always known I wanted that from the beginning. And so I have implemented it all through every step of the way. Did I answer your question?
Well, you did. And I'll tell you what, you also gave me a great word, because I oftentimes try, and people that aren't in business for themselves don't understand this. all the racing thoughts that just keep on pounding you all day, 24/7, no matter where you're at, no matter if you're on vacation, no matter if you're, what doesn't matter where you're at, it's always just racing through. Bajillion's a great description. I'm going to use bajillion from now on, I think, in
Yeah.
describing it, because that no real number, says it well, but bajillion does. But I
Yeah.
got a question for you. So I love what you said about the KPIs. For those out there that aren't familiar, key performance indicators. Every business is so important. Some people get too far into the weeds, I think, with it, but it sounds like you've hit that perfect mix, and we think we've had a nice mix too of like not overwhelming our people with all the numbers that they have to worry about and hit, but just focusing on those key ones that really drive the business. But I got a question for you. So I love the idea of the tiered system. I love the idea that people keep improving, and as they improve, obviously they get rewarded with higher rates, and their craft becomes more valued. And so as that happens, how do you coach them on the handling of the customer? Because obviously the customer is going to be charged more. Like how do you like make it so that the customer can kind of be like, feel like, oh, okay, I'm now being taken care of by somebody that just got to here, and like see the value and understand the value and kind of like celebrate the victory with the employee.
Yeah, I love that you said the word celebrate, because that's exactly how we do it. Because I think it is kind of weird in the service industry. People like, you as a human are invaluable, but your services are valued at a certain price. And so when you go up in those pricing, sure, they're hitting their KPIs, but they also have to invest in education to level jump, we call it. So as they're rising in the tiered system, they're investing in their education, their tools. So scissors have to be maintained. They might be able to afford to buy new scissors of like great quality, better tools, better brushes. Um, but then also, as a salon as a whole, we always, like every single month, we have a monthly team meeting, and we're like, how can we add value to our clients for free? Like, what's something really nice? And we'll talk like, where have you gone that you were just like, whoa, that was so nice. Like, that felt so good. And it didn't cost them anything extra. It's just something that we're doing. So we're always looking for ways to just add value within the service, no matter if they, as they're level jumping, yes, that's in there, but you're still getting it at every stage too.
That's amazing. I mean, value added is the key to retail business and the key to all business. And the more you can add that experience, like to your point, without adding a lot of expense for the business, the better. At the end of the day, it's all about taking care of people. And it's an amazing thing when you do up there. It's kind of, when you talk about like leveling up, I keep on thinking like Mario Brothers, and like there's like little box, and you're like, "Bling," and then the coin goes flying out of the air. It's amazing that all the culture and the language and getting into that and that mindset. What point do you allow, or I guess what tier is it where like people are allowed to actually start doing like bridal shower kind of stuff, where it's like the big party, the special event kind of stuff? Is it like top tier, or is it, you kind of get into that at the middle level?
So bridal work, it's based off of pricing. So some brides want, like the experienced stylist, so they're gonna pay top dollar for that stylist, and then other stylists, hair and makeup really is not like a huge value for them, and so they will pick someone newer and in the industry. So you can get all different stylists at the different levels for weddings as well. Um, but I will say this, like, if you're a part of my team, you will not be able to offer the service if you're not able to fully offer a great service. So, like, no matter if you pick a level 1 stylist or a level 5 stylist, that stylist is going to be able to perform the service. It's just like the mastering of the skill that level 5 person has. And whenever you're working up, you're like niching down into your favorite specialty. So you're paying for like that knowledge that they have of that specific service. So most of the time, once they get to like level 4 or 5, they're only doing blondes or they're only doing vivids, like that's what they love doing. And that's where their education is. So it's the experience and expertise. Yeah.
That's interesting. I was going to ask you that. I was going to ask you to follow up. You just answered my question, because I was wondering like what causes the level up? Like, how do you know when it's time to level up? And does that, like in the meat world, for instance, when somebody comes into the meat world and it's their first day on the job, they get their apron and they obviously to throw everything at them at once is like wild. And we do all in the job training. There's no school to go along with it. So you have to literally develop it from scratch. So you start them off stocking the truck, showing the mechanics of that, then showing them how to work the wrapper, then showing them how to handle the chicken. Then, it goes up and up and up. And as they go up, they get more pay based on the mastery of it. And then once they've mastered the whole department, usually by that point, they're assistant meat manager or journeyman butcher, and then they'll start deciding whether they want to be in management or not. But it's kind of like everybody sees and understands, okay, they have this now we're taking you to this pay and you're moving up from there. You kind of answer the question. It's kind of different in your world because they come in knowing a little bit about everything. So you're saying that as they get better and the strengths start to rise to the top as far as in their own personal world, that's when they hit the next tier, if I'm understanding that right.
Yeah, they have to hit their KPIs of like numbers, but then also education. So yeah, their education will be like strictly for whatever service that they're loving and want to specialize in.
Shelbie, I'm going to ask a question that a lot of people have asked. Again, we ask our customers and crew members before we have people on, what would you ask a world-renowned hairstylist? And they're like, that's a good question, Doug. What is the hardest color to achieve through dyeing or chemicals?
Man. Yeah, so the hardest color would be like a silver. But it would, like silver, people would be like, oh, I want gray hair, and gray is one of my specialties. It's funny, half my clients, they pay me to cover their gray, and then the other half, I'm creating like a perfect gray. But yeah, like this trend of silver gray hair really came in like a few years ago. And I'll tell people, I'm like, your total is going to be like $500 today. And then whenever you shampoo 2 times, you're going to have blonde hair. And so, yeah, it's like silver is just like, you have to just wait until you're silver to get good silver hair that's going to stay. But it's not a natural tone until it is. And so to create that is so hard, especially on dark hair.
So to that point, is dark hair harder to dye than light hair?
It's not harder, but it just depends on like the outcome. So if you're going from like black hair and you want super blonde hair, then like it's like so hard to describe this without getting technical. There's 10 levels of hair. So 1 being the darkest and then 10 being the lightest. So if you want to go from level 1 to level 10, you have 9 levels of hair color to get through. So yeah, to go from like super dark to light it can be hard.
It was funny earlier, Ryan was singing the Eminem song, but when I was like 16, I wanted to dye my hair like platinum. And the lady had it on my head and she walked away. And like, I think she forgot because when she came back, my scalp was on fire and it was like white.
It can burn. Yeah, when you're putting it straight on the scalp like
that. I remember that, man. I remember that. You were, it stood out. It really, it was during football.
Yeah, I was like a 260-pound Slim Shady.
Oh, yeah. My name. Anyways, I got a funny story for you. You'll appreciate this. So just one time in my life, I mean, I have very brown hair. And one time, my high school girlfriend convinced me to dye my hair, bleach my hair. Everybody was bleaching their hair at the time. It was a 25th anniversary of Woodstock, and everybody was bleaching their hair and going to Woodstock. Well, I didn't go to Woodstock, but we decided to bleach my hair. I said, okay, let's give it a shot. And of course, being a kid, not thinking about my schedule, it was like right before I had to speak at church, right before. I mean, it was all this stuff that was like, I needed my hair to look good, It was like, I needed my hair to look good. And so we go to work on the hair, she assures me that, she knows what she's doing. And I come out of this process and literally it was straw. It was like, wasn't red. It wasn't like a cool color. It wasn't red. It was like a strawberry weird mixing of orangey and some pink notes and red. It was a nightmare. So for people that are going to decide to allow their girlfriend or whatever to experiment on their head and they have strong brown hair, like if they're going to do it at home, obviously they should see a professional, but if they're going to do it at home, any advice for the crowd that I could have avoided this?
Yeah, my advice is just don't. then you're gonna have to come in and pay for us to fix it. It is so hard for us to fix it. And the heavy metals that are in that like non-professional hair color, it reacts terribly with professional color. So it could like melt off your head. So we always have to do like a test strand. Yeah. So like anyone who comes in with any sort of box color, there's no judgment. We're not judging you. I've been there. Like I box colored my head in high school too. But yeah, like to fix it, it'll cost 2 times the amount than if you were to just come in and get it done.
Yeah, I got box colored. I got box colored real bad, and it, still obviously, sticks in the brain. I wonder if that explains some of the balding that's happening. Anyways,
I mean, it really could. Yeah,
it really could. I knew it.
Hey, it's like MythBusters. Balding can be caused by Ryan's cheap hair dye.
I knew it. I'm sending her a letter.
Oh my! Send her a letter.
I'm sending her a bill.
Oh my gosh!
This is my hair transplant bill. Thank you.
Shelbie, I got a question. Yeah, there's so many people that we always talk about how social media is a wonderful thing and how it's also sometimes not so great. How do you deal with a person that comes in who doesn't take care of their hair, doesn't take care of their scalp, and like, I want this, and like that is only achievable through Photoshop? Like, how do you navigate that hair conversation?
Just educating, because a lot of people don't realize, and like nowadays with AI, so many people are bringing AI photos. And so always under promise and over deliver, and then educate. Like we are trained to over communicate at our salon because yeah, if they want this, but it's not achievable or it might be unsafe from box color or whatever, like we just educate. And we do test strands where we'll cut out like a little piece from the bottom. We tape it in foil. We'll put the hair color on and we'll straight up show them. Like, do you see? Like, we pull it and your hair just snaps right off. And so, like, that's unrealistic. And we aren't taking the chances of that. You can go, if you want to try that, you can go somewhere else. But, like, we really protect the hair's integrity. So, yeah, definitely just letting them know, like, this is a great inspiration photo, but this is fake. And like, we'll straight up tell them, like, this is fake, or this is AI, or whatever, and again, like, there's no judgment. It's just like, it's the day and age that we are in. So we'll just let them know.
Is there any like advice that was maybe 10 years old that was everybody did, or, for their hair that's probably really bad for you, you shouldn't be doing anymore?
Oh man. The first thing that comes to mind is sun-in. Like the sun-in spray. So many people would use that in high school, and it's just straight up like hydrogen peroxide. It just dries out your hair, and then your hair turns up orange because it's just like slightly bleaching your hair with no technology in it to give you the color that you want.
Now, does that also apply to like the lemon juice thing? Everybody's like, oh, put lemon juice in your hair, walk outside for a little bit. It'll like give you highlights. Does that still work, or is that snafu
I have
too?
never tried that, and I can't even say I've ever heard that.
Yeah, I've heard it. Like, they're like, oh yeah, just put lemon in your hair and walk around a little bit. I'm afraid to do it.
I probably wouldn't. But It's just, it's just lemon, so.
Hey, we're myth busting here with Shelbie today. She's helping us get through our hair problems.
Yeah, we always like to use our guests to tell us, to take the mess out of our head, literally.
We could experiment on your guys' hair this summer.
Ooh, that'd be interesting.
Lemon juice and a sunny day.
I just have a question though. Do you charge by the amount of hair? Because if that's the case, I'm paying more money.
Yeah, it is by the amount. But for real though, if you have like so much hair, we do have to charge for that because it takes more time and more product.
Yeah. Does the beard thing come in too? Although that wouldn't get paid to color your beard probably because there's you wouldn't have that much of a shelf life on it.
Some people do. We don't do any at the salon, but I do know like barbers that specialize in men's cutting and grooming. They'll dye beards.
Interesting. Yeah. I got some grays.
No, you got to keep it. It's like a touch of gray.
Yeah. Maybe I'll get that stuff you just paint on like they do in the.
Oh my gosh, the little can. Like there's a guy with no hair. They get this little
spray
can,
paint,
and all of a sudden the guy's like full head of hair. Like that's not fake.
I got a question for you. So in our world, Doug and I, we own 3 stores between us. We got the podcast going on. We got people delivering hoagies all over Western Pennsylvania. There's all these like loose ends and all these things that are happening. And obviously, there's only 4 eyeballs. And right now, we're both sitting here talking to you, which is great. But at the same time, there's 3 grocery stores operating. There's people delivering hoagies, and so we have to like rely on the strength of our team uh, to make sure that everything's going smoothly every day, that the customers are being treated properly, that the conditions are up to standard. Like for you, in the salon, I'm sure is a different world, but like when you send teams out on their bridal journeys and on special projects like that, you might have teams going all over the place. You know, is it about the same thing? Is it just about trusting the people and
Yeah.
having the same vision?
Yeah, for sure. Cause yeah, bridal like on site and even in the salon. I don't have an office space in the salon, so I have my at-home office. And like when you're working there, you'll get pulled and then you see someone and you just want to chit chat. And so I always say if I want to be like super productive, I need to be at home in my home office. I shut my door and then I'm here. And I think going back to the hiring, like when you hire someone that's in alignment with your values and your mission and they're in the same boat, they're rowing the same way, that they're going to show up and do what they need to do. And I think also like getting them involved. Every single person on my team has contributed ideas, and I always say like I might be the owner of Lightning Hair Lounge, but it's not mine. It's ours, it like it wouldn't be anything that it is without my team. And so it really does. It feels like ours, and they help me build it. They give me ideas as well, and like, so I just feel like it's partly theirs and they take ownership of it. They like it and, they're building it too.
That's so great that you said that. So many. You're saying so many good things, and it's there's no mystery why different businesses are successful. When you hear somebody speak about their business, about their crew, about their processes, you can tell pretty quick if somebody's like on the right track. And obviously, the results speak for themselves. But it's funny you said about the ideas of the team. I've Out of every 10 good ideas that I have, probably 0.25 of one, so that'd be a quarter of one idea is mine. The rest comes from the team, from different people giving great input, great ideas, great suggestions. My wife obviously is a huge contributor. I mean, she always says unsolicited advice. That's her thing. Hey, I got a piece of unsolicited advice if you want to hear. It's kind of funny around the house, but it's so refreshing to hear that, because I think that's so important for people that are going to be successful. You can't just it can't just be, hey, this is my way or the highway. I know everything. It's about collecting those great ideas that everybody has.
Yeah, definitely. It's not about, like, for me, it's the salon. Again, I might have created it, but at the beginning, but it's not about me, and it's not about anything that I want. Like some people on my team, they're there more than I am. I'm in my office and then I'm out networking. So it's like, this is your space too. And we all have like different experiences. So it's like everyone has something to contribute.
When we were talking earlier, and I'm glad you said contribute and working together. There's been some times, obviously, you can't make everybody happy, right? You can have the best styling ever, best color ever. We all have stories of trying times in the business. One of the ones we heard about yours is the time that I guess a lady was so mad she threatened not to pay.
Yeah, no, she didn't pay.
What?
She walked out. Yeah. This was in my opening week, my first week of Lightning Hair Lounge. And yeah, this girl came in and I did her hair. She had box color on her hair, so then she wanted a result. So, sometimes it doesn't matter the box color. Yeah, sometimes it doesn't matter how much you educate someone, and it's not even about like you or what you did, because again, you never know what they're going through in their personal life. So you're just the one getting the brunt of it. And so, but yeah, this girl, she hated the tone that her hair lifted to. So then I offered her to retone it, and I had time to do it then. And so then, retone it. And then this was in my old space. So it was basically like one big rectangle, very open. And so then the front desk was here, and then the waiting desk was literally directly beside it. No wall, nothing. And then she's standing right there. And I was like, I feel like she's getting squared up. Like she was like looking like she was like gonna come at me. I was like, in my head, I was like, I'm so glad I'm behind this wall, at this half wall. It wasn't even a full wall. And but yeah, she was like, I hate my hair. It looked better before I came in, and blah blah blah. And she went on and on. She was like, I am not paying for this. And I said, I can't not charge you. I said, I won't charge you for retoning it since you were unhappy with the first tone, but I provided you this service, and so you do have to pay for the service. And like her feet were in this stance, you know, it was like, and she was like, I am not paying for this. And I was just like, you like have to pay for this. And she straight up walked out. My other client was waiting, like, right, she saw it all. And I was just like, you know, mortified. But then you have to like pretend like you're totally fine and then take care of this other client and then bawl once that one leaves. You know, it was like, yeah.
Beyond the physical time, what was like the product worth of that? I mean, is at least what, probably 80, 90 bucks just for the product that you put in her hair?
Oh, yeah, for sure. Yeah, she
That's
had
like
long hair between lightener, toner, shampoo, conditioner, you know, products, everything. Yeah, foils.
it's fine. Ryan, do background checks on people. Can you imagine having your permanent record, you know, retail theft from local salon, $100 in hair products? Like, why would you do that to yourself?
That's a bad day right there, man.
Well, and now I would have been like, try me, you know, like now I'm just like experienced and I would know exactly how to handle it. But at the time, I didn't call the cops. I didn't do anything, you know, because I was just like, I mean, all I could do was cry once my other client left. You know, I like cried all that night because, I mean, you know, it's like this was the first week I opened, so it was what, like 4 days into owning a business and doing hair by myself in a space. So yeah, it's like you don't do that when you go to a restaurant and you're like, you order a new dish and then you don't like it, you know, like, or even like going into Sprankles and trying a new, I don't know, a new dish. Like you don't go back and like expect your money back just because you didn't like it. Like you're trying something new. And that goes with hair too.
Shelby, they actually do that at Saxburg, like on the dumbest things. They're like,
Oh, really?
I just, oh yeah, I bought this cookie. Yeah, I didn't like the flavoring, but it was good, right? It's in date and the right price. Yeah. I just didn't like it. Can I get my money back?
I like it when the guy brings in a package of you know, massive package of steaks and you know, hey, I need credit for these 12 steaks. You know, they just didn't taste right. Well, you know, I see there's only four steaks there. You know, where's the other 8? Well, we ate them, but they just didn't taste right. You know, I mean, I'm telling you, it's amazing, you know, what you see in the retail. And I wanted to ask you this though. So besides the, you know, the cornered raccoon stance customer that, you know, was on the brink of disaster, what is the biggest, like, you know, I think about like at our level, you know, you can have miscuts or somebody maybe mishandles a customer, you know, different things like that go wrong, you know, customer falls, stuff like that. But like, what's the biggest, like, that you can remember epic fail as far as just instance with a customer, or like you looked at what somebody just did to a customer's head and you're like, oh, that is wild. Like, what am I going to do to fix this? Like, what's the biggest one you can think of? Like, you're like, what am I going to do here to make this right?
So, okay, so thankfully I haven't had like cuts or colors that I've witnessed like that. But when I worked at one, it was like a walk-in based salon. This one girl was cutting a clipper cut and the guard fell off. And so it got like, you know, like a bald spot in there. That happened like a multiple times though. And then, but like for me personally, yeah, I'm so glad that's never happened.
It's like, what?
Yeah, you're getting the bald fade whether you like it or not.
Watching the news and it's like you're like look back and your head just has this like
Bald spot.
track down the middle. Oh, I love it.
But then at well, I could tell beauty school stories. That's where you really see it at. But for me personally, whenever I was like I was still an assistant, but I think I was licensed at this point. I worked in this super upscale salon and it was like in the Cranberry area, you know? So like totally different people than what I'm used to around Cabot and Saxonburg. And so yeah, we had like I was working with like the top client there. She would come in every single week and she would openly talk about she had like multiple boyfriends. One was a pilot and one was like a surgeon or something, you know, like I don't know, uber successful men. And she would come in every week for her blowout, her spray tan, and she would tell us, you know, like she's going here and then there and then there. And so she probably was like one of the top clients spending the most money at this super fancy salon. And I was shampooing her hair, and the one shampoo bottle, it was almost empty. At least it was light enough to be knocked over, and it fell on her head when she was getting shampooed. And so oh my gosh, I could have just died. And it wasn't like a huge deal. Like, you know, her head was fine, she was fine, it was not super heavy, but it was like just the fact that it was this client and like a shampoo bottle falling on your head at the shampoo, like the most relaxing part of the service. I was like,
Hello.
yeah, you're awake now.
Yeah. If you weren't awake now, if you weren't awake before, you're with us now. You're
Yeah.
fully engaged.
We're trying new therapy here. It's called smacking the face with a shampoo bottle. So what'd she do? Like, was she like riled up? Like she go to the management?
No,
She was like,
just like, oh, like she was. I think her eyes were closed, and I remember just like a slight reaction, like she was definitely startled. And yeah, but other than that, like she was nice about it. Thank God.
Yeah.
Shelby, I have one question. So, like you being the owner, obviously, some people like in our business, same thing happens. They want to meet the owner, they want to see the owner. And your business, I'm guessing they want to have the owner do the styling. You know, you can't do everybody's hair; it'd be impossible. Plus, your people in your organization won't have the chance to do the same thing. How do you navigate that conversation? Because I'll tell you a quick hair story I had. This lady in Palo cut my hair perfect. Like she had the fade. I looked like I was 20 years younger. It was amazing. Went back in the next time she punted me to the rookie, and the rookie just messed it up. I never went back. I had like this and I gave her like so I think the hair at the time was like $20, like $30 maybe for a guy. I gave her like 50. I gave her like 50. I'm like, that was amazing. Thank you. And then I made a point there the following week, and she gave me the rookie and messed my hair up.
Oh my gosh, yeah. So I personally would like. I think it's different doing girls' hair versus guys' hair because it's I don't know. There's more of like a relationship, and a lot of the people I typically don't get too many new clients now. They're really the clients that I've been doing for years and years and years. And so then whenever like as I'm growing as well, I'm getting price increases too. So as like people grow out, you know, like everyone has a different budget, which is fine. And so as you're growing, you will naturally lose some clients, but we have such an open team policy where it's not weird, you know? So if anything does shift in pricing, budgets, even life, you know, like sometimes life comes up and like you have an unexpected expense. So like you need to cut in certain places. So with our level system, we have so many different pricing. So we can serve more of the community that way, which I love that. But I wouldn't just randomly put someone with someone that I didn't feel would be a good fit. So there are times where my clients do have to go to another stylist because they can't get in with me, but it's like very intentional of like you would really jive with this person and like you would really jive with that, or like this one like loves layers, so since you're a layered haircut, I'm gonna put you with her, you know. So it's not super random.
That's all. That's awesome. Like I said, I was traumatized. I was like, man, I gave that lady
Yeah.
$50 in Apollo. Like, this is crazy. So switching gears a little bit, talking about, you know, obviously you have your business, you know, my understanding is that you got it when you were 22 when you your first business. At 27, you decided to go into commercial real estate rental properties.
Yeah, I mean, I guess growing up, my pap had like rentals, and then my dad has a couple, and my brother-in-law was into it. So I feel like I was always just around. But as a hairstylist, and then on top of that, being the owner of the salon, you have like no security in your life. You know, like every day as a business owner, you risk everything. And so for me, I think real estate is sure your tenants can come and go, but it's just a layer of security. And so, yeah, that's what made me want to go into it. And then eventually one day when I do retire from doing hair, there's just that extra income coming in.
We can relate to that. You're a little bit ahead of the game though, because Doug and I waited till we were almost 40. Well, he was almost 40. I was 40 before we started getting into the real estate game. But you're so smart because, to your point, like businesses change. But you might decide someday you don't. You want to sell your business. You might lose that fire inside. So having that backup. One thing we found though that was an adjustment for us, and I don't know if it was the same for you, but in our business, if you produce a good store and the product's right, you sell it, you get money for it, you pay your people, everything happens week to week. So it happens very fast. It's a lot of instant gratification in the results. And obviously in real estate, it's a longer game and a much different situation. And there are times, depending on how many rentals you have rented, how many you don't, whether somebody's behind, whether you have unforeseeable expenses, where the cash flow can vary and it's not as consistent as running a business. Was that a real transition for you, or were you pretty much with your family history kind of ready for that?
No, I would say I was never ready for anything. Like, I'm just like, I'm going to do this. And even sometimes I feel bad. I'm like, I don't know how to do anything for any sort of property, like yeah, like I don't know how to fix a pipe when it breaks or whatever. So as things come up, I just call my dad and I'm like, "Hey, this happened. Who should I call? What should I do?" And that's yeah. I don't know if I answered your question, but I feel like I didn't feel like I was set up.
What are some things we have to look forward to with, Lightning Hair Lounge? Is there future real estate opportunities? What's on the plate?
Yeah, I mean, always I would say I'll continue to invest in real estate when I have a husband that knows how to do stuff. Cause I feel bad always calling my dad or my brother-in-law. So the real estate is on pause, but for Lightning Hair Lounge is continually growing the team and helping as many people in our community feel bold, bright, and beautiful. That's what we do. And creating a space that really just is inviting and comforting to our clients, hopefully expanding our space. And I always plan on staying in on a main street though. I love the community aspect of that. So growing the team, growing our clients, and yeah, just continue to do great hair, great skin in Saxonburg.
That's awesome, Shelby. Thank you so much. It's been an incredible look on the other side of retail. There's so much you can learn from what you do. We love your social media. We love following you and learning more about what you do in the business and the coaching and positive images that you give out to people, especially in such a small town like Saxonburg. You grew up here, went from a resident to Main Street business owner. Really love the culture that you continue to bring to Saxonburg.
Thank you. Thanks for having me.
Thanks for being on the show, Shelby. PA Skill players seek genuine PA Skill games. How can you tell the real from the imitation? The PA Skill Alliance offers a 4-step identification process to help you find genuine PA Skill games. 1. Check for logos. Does the machine display official Pennsylvania Skill Game logos? 2. Look for Powered by Pacematic. Is it Powered by Pacematic visible on the game's case? 3. Assess business reputation. Is the game a reputable business? Genuine PA Skill games were not intended to be standalone businesses. 4. Examine game style. Is it a tic-tac-toe style game that offers the option to win every time? Help combat fraudulent skill games by exclusively playing genuine PA Skill Alliance supported games. Discover more at paskillalliance.org. And now we're back. That was an amazing interview with Shelbie Moser, Lightning Hair Salon. Just what a great perspective she has. And the reason she's been so successful is the same reason that thankfully people are willing to shop our store. It's vibe. It's the vibe. That's the key. Like creating the right vibe for the person that you're going after, for the person that you want to become a part of your brand, whether it be working for you, whether it be shopping your store or coming to your hair salon. She's nailed it. That is the secret sauce. That's the separator. You might have 10, 20 hair salons or, whatever to choose from. But you come back for that experience because you want to feel that way. You want to be around those people, and she does a great job of that. And what a young age to have that epiphany. I mean, when I was 24, I was just trying to decide between is this going to be a Miller Lite or Coors Light? I mean, let alone, thinking, oh, what about Coors? I mean, she's just way ahead of the curve. It was such a refreshing conversation. She was a great guest. But here we are. Retail stories from around the world with Doug.
Guys, super excited this week. This week, Claire's made the news, which people hear Claire's, they think of Ryan's piercing, the one ear piercing. Great episode if you guys go back to that. But it talks about how Claire's as a brand is back, baby. And this year, they signed a deal with Centric Brands, in which they're going to basically have the branding deal to be able to put them in over 7,000 new retail opportunities under this licensing deal.
Who would have thought 1961 when Rowland Schaefer, what a name, Rowland Schaefer.
Good name.
As Fashion Tree Industries, a business that became the world's largest retailer of fashion wigs. Who would have thought? I love these starts. What was the company you said blew my mind about? They started as this, but they ended as this.
Oh, Foot Locker. Foot Locker was started by, Woolworth.
Woolworth became Foot Locker, and now we have this Fashion Trees Industry, a wig company, pivoting and becoming Quicksilver. I mean, that's crazy.
And they bought a bunch of jewelry stores, and that's they became the accessories, Claire Accessories Incorporated. 1976, they're like, you know what? We're going to do this ear piercing thing. And boom, it started. And the acquisition, they had the acquisition Topakapi.
I love that.
Topakapi.
Whatever that is, I'm signing up. Topakapi.
What is that?
I don't know. It's Japanese.
I love it.
I don't know Japanese.
The icing and accessory place, Cleopatra in France, and Afterthoughts in the U.S., basically coming under then Claire's.
I'm always so amazed and impressed by multinational companies. I mean, I have enough trouble trying to figure out how to do the stuff we do in English. Like, I could imagine somebody saying, "Hey, Ryan." I mean, when somebody says, "Hey, Ryan, do you want to open a store in Toronto Heights?" I'm like, "Whoa, whoa." Let's just calm down. Katanning, maybe I know. Leechburg, I'm trying. Natrona Heights, well, I mean, that's a whole different. I mean, it's like 3 zip codes away, man. I mean, I could imagine somebody saying, "Hey, Ryan, I have a store in Lisbon. I'd like you to try to, make a go of it."
I think you have to have a corporate alignment like no other. You got to be able to understand each other so well, and then just be blindly like, you know what? All right, whatever, we're gonna roll with it.
Nah, that's BS. I guarantee you, those guys are just yelling at us, yelling at each other in Spanish or Portuguese.
But how do you do if you don't know the language?
Did I ever tell you that I went to college with a guy that was 100% Portuguese?
Really?
Yeah, it was this fun fact when we were freshmen in our sales class, and he had to give us fun fact, and he got up, tall guy, dark complected guy, like nice looking guy, Josh Antunes. We became good friends. If he's out there, hey, Josh, good to see you. It's been like 30 years. But anyways, he's like, I'll never forget. It was very notable. Out of 30 kids, it's the only one I remember. He stood up. He was kind of a shy guy. He's like, he was looking down. Josh Antunes, my family is all Portuguese. I'm 100% Portuguese. And he literally sat down. Didn't say another word. It was great.
Fun thing about Portuguese. Did you know that Duke has a favorite sport?
Duke?
Yeah.
My nephew?
Yes.
Has a favorite sport?
Right.
I'm amazed that he is understanding of any sport at 4 years old.
Soccer.
Whoa.
Yeah.
Wait, he didn't play yet?
No.
Oh, my. I can't wait to see him play. I forgot how cool it is. You always got a whole herd of kids just following the ball around, and then one guy kind of gets it or is bigger or is better athlete and just scores like 40 goals.
Oh, yeah.
And then their parents are like, "Yeah, it's my boy. It's my boy." It's great.
Meanwhile, he's 3 years older than everybody else.
Yeah.
But the reason why is, so we go to Dick's Sporting Goods, which is a Pittsburgh tradition like no other. So we walk in, and it's World Cup season right now.
Yeah, that's right. It's a big deal.
Yeah, and so they have this massive Massey display of Massey, the soccer player, right?
Yeah.
And I'm like, "Hey, Duke, who do you like as a soccer player?" He's like, "Not Massey. I like Rolando." And so we went downstairs.
Wait, what? He knew Messi and Rolando?
Yeah. So we go downstairs. And he's like, "I don't want that jersey. I want the red one." I'm like, "Son, all they have is the World Cup one. It's like the blue and white one." He's like, "I guess." He wears it. It's cool.
That is cool. And it's about right. That's how Sprankles. We're just smart enough to be successful. But that is about right. The only guy in our whole gene pool, both sides, for like 50 generations, that has a chance to be 6'5", 275 pounds of absolute athletic muscle, and he wants to play soccer.
I know.
That makes sense, actually.
So
That makes total sense.
So I did. I put him to Taekwondo right away.
I mean, I look forward to seeing him going around scoring 40 goals because he's going to. I mean, I'd love to see a 5-year-old try to slide tackle. Was it slide tackle?
Slide tackle.
Slide tackle him. I mean, yeah.
You're gonna break your
That's
ankle.
hilarious, though. That's funny. That's cool that he's into
Orlando.
sports. I mean, neither of my kids really understood what sports were until like 6. So, that's
But
pretty
Portugal,
cool.
Though, that's the Portugal connection.
Portuguese.
Yeah.
The Portugal jersey. And, the funny thing, one more thing about Messi. When I thought, and, I'm not sure how to say it. Is it Messi? I mean, let us know because we're probably all saying it wrong. But here's the thing. When I first heard about this guy, I'm expecting to see like Paul Bunyan, like just some like, and I'm like, I looked at him, I'm like, dude is my size. I mean, he's a small guy.
Oh, yeah, they're not big.
And see, I think that's part of my problem. No offense, soccer's number one. It's the number one sport in the world. There's hands down. Nobody can argue that, man. It's the number one sport in the world.
Football.
Yeah. But this is my problem with the sport. It is. The number one player in the entire world looks like me. like I'm not, I try to stay in shape for a 45-year-old guy, but the number one player in a sport shouldn't look like me. Genuine PA Skill Games, powered by Pacematic and supported by PA Skill Alliance, are dedicated to fostering growth throughout the Commonwealth. These games have been instrumental in supporting local fraternal orders, fire companies, bars, and retailers by keeping businesses operational, maintaining employment, and funding community projects. With over 5,000 communities across Pennsylvania, it's highly probable that Genuine PA Skill Games are working hard behind the scenes in your area. They ensure the vitality of our main streets, restaurants, bars, and stores. By supporting PASkillAlliance.org, you are investing time in your community, employing your neighbors, and contributing to local nonprofits. Together, we can help keep Main Street open for business.
But back to Claire's. We're talking about how Claire's and centric brands, Quicksilver, Billabong, and Roxy, all follow in the footsteps and how they're expanding. We talked about how they came out of Japan, and then they basically bought National, were a part of the mall craze, and now they're going back because of, just like Sephora did, with the brand power back into modern retailers.
I like the fact that in 2007, coming out of it into the next situation, Apollo Global Management got them back on the map. I mean, Apollo, PA, baby. Shout out Armstrong County. And that got them back into it in 2007. And, for $3.1 billion, that's all it takes to, get something back. Hey, you want to fix something? Hey, just throw $3.1 billion, easy $3.1 billion. In 2007, I mean, that's probably like $5 billion now.
Right. And then basically, as they continue to grow, they're now into CVS, Walmart, and they're part of their core stores. And basically, with the social media influence, they're back, baby. And they're, may not be piercing ears anymore, but they're definitely piercing the market.
Nice. That was a good one. Quicksilver. I mean, I've always felt like, and I mean this sincerely, I'm not trying to be sarcastic or whatever. I've always felt like, even when I was younger, I wasn't quite cool enough for Quicksilver. Like, and that's that. Hey, here you go, Quicksilver. I mean, I feel like you have to have a special, aura, in the words of Colt, my son, aura, about you to pull off the Quicksilver label. And I think that's kind of cool because it separates it and it makes you want to strive to be that brand. So that's pretty neat.
I feel like you have to be a super athlete. If you're surfing big waves in Hawaii, you're in a whole different athletic level than anybody, especially the guys who are our age surfing. What do you do for a hobby? I play video games, hang out with my kid, and go for walks and get winded halfway through. Oh yeah, I just did a 100-foot wave.
I mean, at this point, I'm not thinking about waves. I'm just trying to walk downstairs without having to grab the guardrail. You know what I mean? Hey, if I can make it down 13 stairs without getting some kind of support on the sides, that's a win right there.
Get out of the chair without going.
Win. Yeah, but hey, Here's the Quicksilver. What a great story.
Ryan, what's time for your retail story of the week and your Memorial Day memorial speech that changed the world?
You know, it's funny. It's when you're in business and you become a community member, and then you get to the point that you're working with the community and you become a community leader as a business owner. It's part of the deal, and you graduate into that, and all of a sudden you're like thrust into that role. And for me, I was working for Dad. He was in the leadership role in the community with Rotary and all the things he was overseeing. And my wife Brandy actually was a community leader. You were a community leader, but I really kind of like just kept working. I just kept working, and I wasn't like really into that leadership role. And one of the first like times that I was into that role, and I didn't realize it till I was there, was the Memorial Day Parade at Katanning in 2000 and let's see, it's 2007, 2001. No, 2021, sorry. Sorry. 2000. It took me, I was 21 to be a leader. No. It was 2021, and I was there, and all of a sudden, the guy that had done it for like 20 years, he had some unfortunate, we won't go into the details, but you can look it up. It's kind of interesting.
Wait, newspaper guy?
Yeah. Yeah. I mean, I'm not going to mention the name, but, he did a lot for community, but he made some bad mistakes. But anyways, he had been running and a part of that. Not he was a main driving force. The Memorial Day Parade helped build it up to what it was for like ever. And the Memorial Day Parade in Katanning is really a cool event. I mean, it's still one of the viable, like very thriving parades. I mean, there's like 75 floats, and everybody that's a senator, every representative, every fire company, everybody's there. It's to the point that like people just show up. But anyways, that gets to it. So I'm there, and they asked me, which I was very honored. I was very, very honored to do that. And so I show up, and it was funny, man. It was like I showed up, and nobody knew where the mic was. And so thankfully, for the one time in my life, I was an hour early. So I show up. I look for the mic. We find the mic, locate the mic. Mic works. Great. Now, who are we going to get to sing the national anthem? This guy he was focused on it. He wasn't just showing up an hour before. Like, he had it. And I kind of thought maybe it would be already done, and I just show up and, read the script or whatever. No. So, like, I show up. There's nobody to sing the national anthem. There's no real list of the people that are coming down that need announced, because it's a great parade. They come down through and they hit right. They go back past our store. They hit Market Street. They come down and they pause like the Macy's parade in the middle of the main center there, where like Family Dollar, East Ferrari, Kling's used to be next year. That main center. They pause there for announcement, and then they move through. And there's a sea of people the whole way up and down Market Street. It's a really cool parade, but the thing that was amazing was it started, and like they're like, we're starting in 5 minutes. Everybody's waiting for I can sing in a bar at midnight, but like I've never sung publicly, and so I'm like, what is going to happen here? So literally, this is funny. I'm dressed like in my Uncle Sam costume. Yeah, I'm dressed in my Uncle Sam costume. And I'll never forget. I'm like, so I hurry up and quick YouTubed. I mean, it's 5 minutes before the shotgun start, and I'm YouTubing. And keep in mind, I have no list of who's coming. I have a couple pieces of paper of like people that are going to be there, but I don't know when they're coming. So I'm like frantically sending Bran to the other side of the block to like give me a signal. She's on a phone. I think I had Colt or Cam or somebody on the other phone beside me to give me a heads up who's coming. It was like on the fly, and everybody's looking at me. So I'm like, yeah. Trying to look like I know what's happening. And everybody's looking and waiting to be, you got people taking their hats off, putting their hearts. It's time, man. I'm like, and finally I'm like, and I never forget it. I finally came across, I just quick Googled like, national anthem. And it came up Whitney Houston. And I'm like, okay, we're going to roll with that. Well then, because I didn't have I had to go through the commercials. There's 2 commercials. All right, everybody. Thanks for coming today. We really appreciate it. This is a great town, great environment. The beautiful Allegheny River's behind. I mean, I just go into it until I'm waiting for the commercials. I'm like, hey, yeah, no, this town was founded and General Armstrong would have loved. Okay, all right, everybody, it's time for the national anthem. Everybody, let's just reflect and enjoy the scene together. And Whitney she put on a great performance, like she did in 1991 at the Super Bowl that I played for everybody. Then the floats started coming rolling down. And you want to talk, if you want to experience real stress, man. I mean, we both know what stress feels like. I mean, be there in your Uncle Sam costume with your microphone that you think's going to work with, 3,000 people staring at you. And all of a sudden you have floats coming down and all the public officials and business owners in their floats, everybody needs to be recognized. And they're coming like rapid fire. Like, it's not like, there's not like a nice spacing between them. It's like, they're right on each other and they're just one after another. And so it's like, I mean, you're just like, it was like they were coming so fast, there wasn't enough time for Brandon to talk to Cam, to talk to me. So I'm just like, I winged it. But, thankfully, we've been given the gift from our dad of just being able to wing it. Roll in, as I tell Colt. So I rolled in, I just started talking. People that I knew real well, I'd say something about or whatever. People I knew I just made sure that their business or their organization or their fire company was honored. And it went well, but, it's funny. You talk about a really nice, beautiful morning along the Allegheny at 8:30, drinking my coffee in my Uncle Sam outfit, rolling in to utter chaos, stress, level 10 anxiety. It was just I almost sung the national anthem.
That's I was really hoping. I was hoping. Did you? There's a quick side note. Did you remember going to the Hall of Fame game with Dad and we listened to the national anthem?
I do.
Mary J. Blige.
Was that the one that she did it when we were there?
Yeah, and she forgot it. And then
wait, we were there for that?
Yeah, and
my memory stinks. I'm glad
we were all there, and she booed it. I'm thinking you're up there. You're like this. Oh, who can sing? And I'm like, oh my God. No, it's the best part about this whole story. Two things I take away. One is that people literally was like, that was the best Memorial Day parade ever. And
they loved it.
It's legendary. And then he came out like Elvis a couple years later. And then, one of the parades here at Elvis, it was amazing. But like catsuit Elvis guys, not just like old, like washed up like catsuit Elvis. And so then the second thing is, if there's a talent, like a hidden talent show, I think that yours would literally be, okay, Ryan, I know this is weird. I need you to go in there and wrestle that giraffe. I know you never saw a giraffe before in person, but I need you to do it. And you'd be like this. All right. And you'd figure most of it out, or nobody got hurt and the giraffe got where it needed to be.
You just got to make it happen, man. I mean, I'm glad you brought that up because that's the way I've always lived. Like, I get nervous. Everybody gets nervous, but when it comes, you just have to do. You just have to go. And if you're in a spot you're not comfortable with, just be honest and just be yourself and just let the cards fall where they fall. But it ended up being really good and it was fun, but man, was it stressful. And you would think each year will get easier. No, because everybody just shows up. People don't RSVP for this thing. So, I mean, it's I'm sweaty every year, man. I'm just okay, man, I gotta get my brain working, make sure it's quick. Because, you can't forget, when the state senator comes rolling in, you can't forget about who that is, or you can't oh, hi, oh yeah, our state senator's here, everybody, say hi. No, I mean, everybody comes, they're making an effort in their day to come to Katanning. A lot of people are coming in. And they just want recognition, and it's part of it. And the people they like to hear who it is. They like a little side gab about it. So it's always. I mean, I'm doing it again this year, and I'm equally as nervous as I was. Not equally, that's an exaggeration, but it's always just It's a fun annual event in Armstrong County. It's one of the fun things we do. But that first time around, man, was whoa. I mean, I don't know if I've ever been that overwhelmed with just whoa, where I thought about, okay, can I actually just run? But now it's time for Retail Trends with Doug.
Skinification of hair care paired with a professional prescription of over traditional sales. So in the old days of hair place, you walk in, you'd be like, Oh, it's Paul Mitchell. There's that green tree stuff. Buy it, right? Now, these salon owners and people that are in the program are now doing all these chemical and like mixing everything from like acids to different hydraulic acids. I mean, not hydraulic.
Shit.
Acid.
I was gonna say, man, wait, what is happening? You got me perked up there. I'm like, what is this all about?
I haven't seen the X for trends in a long time. So basically what I talked about before a little bit with the hair products, it's the scalp health that's a priority. Basically, great hair starts with the scalp and then moves into the ingredients and what do the ingredients do to your scalp over a period of time. And then, obviously you're going to talk about the selling and prescribing.
Yeah, and it's funny you said about that because that is what happens over time. Your body gets less whatever, and these little mitochondria or whatever start eating away at stuff. And one of the things they eat away at is your hair. It's wild, man. The irony is, why do they pick your head and not your back? Like, as you're a dude getting older, you get all this back hair, and then you lose hair on your head. Like, it's funny where they choose to thrive.
Well, it's a bunch of things, but I think it's Ryan's out there offering non-solicited medical advice. No, it talks about like the testosterone levels change as you get older. So
Yeah.
based on the testosterone levels, where the hair goes.
Oh, okay. I got you. All right.
But yes, that's this week. It's no longer is it just about what the fancy bottle looks like. It's about actually making the program fit you based on your scalp needs and everything else, and being basically a holistic way to totally encompass the hair products and the hair solutions to make sure that it's the best match for you.
And now, everyone, it is time it's my favorite time. I get to eat. It's my grocery list. My grocery item of the week is.
Well, Ryan's shaking his bag over there.
Oh, man, this is great because I'm on a diet. And Brandon and I have been doing this diet and trying to stick to it. But, hey, you got to eat the item of the week. And the item of the week, just in time for the summer season. And again, non-sponsored. This is just stuff I enjoy. Is Doug, what do we got?
We got Little Debbie shortcakes, which is really interesting. Do you know how old Little Debbie is?
You know what? I'm going to guess she's like, 12.
No, a lot younger. But more importantly, it starts in the Great Depression. So 1930, the journey began in 1933, the height of the Great Depression. O.D. McKee and his wife, Ruth, were broke and looking for ways to survive. O.D. started selling 5-cent snack cakes from the back of a 1928 Whippet car in Chattanooga, Tennessee. Eventually, the couple had enough to buy a large bakery, and they spent the next 2 years, decades learning from the roads of mass-producing baking and moving towards and adding experimental recipes under the corporate name McKee Foods. And then 1960, the logo was made. McKee had the soft oatmeal pie, which is one of the biggest items they had. However, they needed breakthroughs for the marketing, stand out on the grocery shelves. Their packaging suggested that they brand after a family member. O.D. chose his 4-year-old granddaughter, Debbie.
That girl is not 4. She does not look like a 4-year-old.
She's a 4-year-old now. Oh, not anymore. Now she's like 70, but
Yeah.
so she was 4, 19.
I feel like
She's 60. She's 64.
Yeah, back then, though,
69.
back then, though, they made kids look like adults. And I feel like she looks like an adult. Like Brenda Lee, the famous singer Brenda Lee, our mother, Nan says she's not named after her, but I mean, how is she not named after her? But anyways, born the same year that she had 3 #1 hits. But anyways, Brenda Lee, the famous singer, All I Want for Christmas, all that kind of stuff. She was 13 when she wrote those songs.
That's crazy.
Well, I will say this, man. I've had a lot of these in my lifetime. Not so many now, but that's one of the reasons it's nice about my, item of the week. I can eat whatever I want during this. And this, baby, strawberry shortcake rolls. It's like the Swiss cake roll of summer. I mean, honestly. And it is. Oh, man. Combining that many good ingredients, and when I say good, I mean just tastes good. I don't know. It's got a pretty good ingredient label, but have one of those, man. I mean, it's going to change your life. Have you had one of these, honestly?
Holy. You know how many calories is in 2 of those?
You know what? It doesn't matter. It's so good.
370.
Yeah.
That's like 2 Oreos.
Every one of them is so good.
Like 2 Oreos.
I mean, so good.
That's a good item. I'm glad you brought that out because you know what? One of my favorite things was Swiss rolls when I was a kid. Just the regular chocolate ones. They used to be for the big box $1. Remember that?
Oh yeah, 99 cents.
Yeah, big end cap.
Now it's like $25.99. No, just kidding.
I think it's like 2, isn't it?
Here's the funny thing: it is, but like you go in a containing store for me. When you go into the containing store, it's the first thing there. And my guy, I know you watch this. Always wiped out, but he does bring in a ton. He fills it like crazy. But if you look at any of the stores, Little Debbie, I look when I go into your store. Every Little Debbie end cap, no matter where it is, wiped out. So people can say they're on all these whatever, and maybe they are, but they're still sneaking their little hidden pleasure, Little Debbie.
You know what? They put it right beside the milk too, which is always just crazy.
Oh,
Milk and Little Debbie's are like amazing.
Well, I'm going to have my second Little Debbie while you're telling your retail story.
You know how hard it is to focus on man's mowing down a Little Debbie Swiss roll? He's like dying over there. So I go back and, we're going to and today I'm going to start my little event journey. And when I first came back to Leechburg, we were store operators. We were, Ryan and I talk about it all the time. We're just running stores and, arguing over what end cap looks better than the other. But, when you're starting out, one of the things they talk about, and this is actually very important, when an older grocery guy once told me, he said, Doug, he said, it's never about the money you give to the community, it's about your time. And just like Ryan talked about the Memorial Day Parade, which was amazing, he gave his time, his talent, his effort, and his family co-conspired to make sure that parade went well. But we at Sprankles were like, we love the fact that we're remodeling our store for the first time since Dad remodeled it back when he bought it in 1998. 2003, I believe, was when he kind of did that first big remodel. But having the ability to do an event was really cool. And we decided that we're going to take not only just the event itself, but we're going to incorporate all of our local business partners. And we were going to set up in the side parking lot there where the loading dock was, which by itself, it's funny. When you start doing events, you realize how many details are oriented. We had to make sure the tent didn't hit the power line. Leechburg's power is legendary. So we want to make sure we didn't lose power that day. We had to make sure that it was ready for, trucks were in and out. There's just so much going on. But do you remember the theme we had for that?
Oh, I mean, it was awesome. It was one of my favorite events to this day that you did. I mean, it was medieval. I mean, we had swords, we had, all kinds of garb, and we felt like, we were in the medieval times. I mean, we had fur, we had armor, we had swords. There was beer, I think.
Oh, yeah, we had everything.
There was beer.
There was beer.
I remember I couldn't drink, though, because I had to drive to Columbus that night.
What was in Columbus?
Colt had a tournament.
Oh, wow.
Yeah. I think Colt had, or Cam had, somebody had a tournament. No, Cam had a tournament. But I remember that event still, I think, is one of the best events that we've had and that you've planned. I thought it was just really fun. Everybody had a great time.
Everybody had a great time. We sword fought. And, it's really cool when you start like bringing all those niche markets together, all those different people. So from an event standpoint, we started the event. We set a small budget for the advertising. We incorporated it into our normal store ad. This is way before social media. We had social media at this point? We had a little bit.
We were just starting.
So we started to talk to all of our local business partners, incorporated them. The store paid for everything as far as like entertainment, all that stuff. Teamed up with some local sword play people. We had bands. We had the big food tent and everything else. And it was an opportunity to really just bring everybody together for one focused event. And it actually led to Oktoberfest eventually. But some things that stand out is that the amount of time it takes to organize an event and the amount of people that always have their 5 cents for event organizers, no matter how good it is. And I go we know that because of like the scale of Oktoberfest got to, it was never like, for the event person, it's always the same mission. If you can bring people together in your community, and you can do that with your brand and share that with other brands, there's natural synergy there. Everybody wants to be successful, and it just creates an opportunity. But just all the details and everything else, that goes with that is just incredible. From assurances, from permits, from looking to site ordinances, to all that stuff. It's just a lot of work. But the coolest thing I never forget, we had our little sword fight, and at the end we're there, and the customers were just excited about the brand. They got excited about what was going on, and they engaged with the brand in a deeper way than just buying what's in aisle 5.
No, it was a great event. I mean, like I said, honestly, it's one of my favorite events looking back. And those little pop-ups were some of your magic that kind of got us like into that next level of customer, talking about the vibe. I mean, honestly, it ties in well to our guests today. You know, creating the vibe. Like that's one of the things you bring to our business is the vibe. And that was awesome. One thing that funny side note that I just thought about for that. Remember the dude, and he meant well. And if he's out there watching this, I mean, all respect. But the funny thing was, do you remember the dude that was in charge of the sword part of it? He was obviously having one or two extra ales, and by the end of the day, man, he was just like yelling and swinging his sword around. I mean, like it was kind of a funny side spectacle situation. But to be honest with you, those kind of things are what makes events memorable. I mean, yeah, he was there, this wild man sword operating training guy. And I remember when the guy made you mad. It's funny, you and I both. We don't like to be told anything. And remember when you took Colt to his little place, and I don't mean that negatively, but his sword fighting training place. Yeah, quick side story. It's a bonus story, and I know we're starting, but this is a good one. Or maybe we should save it. I don't know. But do you remember that? Like you were bonding with Colt. Should we tell it now, or should you just save it for later? Maybe.
No, it's a good story.
Like you're bonding with Colt.
We're bonding with Colt.
As an uncle, you're taking time out of your schedule, picking him up.
You're picking equipment, all of it.
Driving 30 minutes out of your way, picking him up, taking a great time. He still remembers it. He loved. I mean, that kind of stuff. He still savors it. But tell a story about you. Yeah, Doug and I obviously before this episode, just a fun fact. Asterisk. Yeah, we got into a brotherly altercation, but the beauty of our relationship and the beauty of the strength of the brand. We came through it. We did the cast anyways. But tell this story. It's a great story. Bonus story.
That's a different, though. There's a difference between, like, what our relationship is versus outsiders. Like, we can walk away from a lot of things. Outsiders, I don't give them as much leeway. And you don't either.
No, but, funny side thing. We get this from Dad. Dad, he's combustible. He's always been combustible. That's part of, like, how he gets it going. He gets himself motivated, I think, by just lashing out, like, getting it out of his system. And then, he'll get it out of his system, he'll unload on you, and then he'll want to play golf or he'll take you to this or whatever. Like, and you're like, I don't want to play golf with you, I want to kill you. Like, he's like, oh, come on, man. We just had a little disagreement. We both threatened to literally execute each other 3 times. You threatened to quit. I threatened to quit. Oh, come on. We're going to ruin this nice day. Are you going to ruin this nice day? Let's play some golf. Like, he just had a knack for that. But his heart was always in the right place. And that's the thing with you and I. I mean, we might argue, we might whatever, but the heart's always in the right place. And for those of you out there, if you got a disagreement with a long-term sibling, just get over it. Just get over it. It's not worth it. Fix it. That's your nugget for the day. If you have a problem with any kind of your siblings, cousins, whatever, reach out and fix it.
So Colt and I are there, and it's an old church they converted into this studio, which is super nice. And things started to go south. Like they started making us like go play. Not badminton, but we had to go play. What's the sport with the stick? And you're like this.
Javelin?
No, it's they play not field hockey. What's the one with the stick? What? Lacrosse.
Yes.
Okay.
Lacrosse.
I'm 40 now. I can do this.
Yeah, me too.
So we're playing lacrosse, and I'm like, why are we playing lacrosse? He's like, it's the same skill set for sword. I'm like, I didn't drive 30 minutes to not swing a sword. We're swinging swords. So this starts happening, and then we had a freezer down in Apollo or one of the stores, and I had to go fix it, and so I was running a little late for class. So I get down there, and Colt and I walk in like 10 minutes late, and so he's like, drop and give me 20. And I'm like, huh? He's like, you're late. You got to pay for you being late. And I'm like, dude, I just fixed a freezer in my store. I drove 30 minutes to get here, and I just paid you $20 to be part of this class. I ain't doing push-ups. And he's like, well, then you can't do the class. And I'm like, I guess I'm not doing the class. That was the last class.
Just for the record, how many people were in this class?
12.
Yeah, exactly. So, vibe.
It's a shame, though, because we had a good vibe until he told me to go work out.
No, but he killed the vibe.
He killed the vibe. He made it weird.
He had a local business owner coming to his sword fighting class with his nephew. Every week, no matter what catastrophe was happening, you were there with your nephew, you were a person that had the, financial wherewithal, and you were obviously emotionally invested. You wanted to hang out with your nephew. He loved it. And you're there, and this guy didn't get the vibe. He didn't get what vibe he should put out at the time. If you're training a bunch of Spartan sons, okay, let's do some push-ups. If you're training a junior high football team that's going for a state championship game, but when you're dealing with adults that are coming from real jobs, unless he was trying to go into that what do they call that when you're like
a line,
like a method acting type of thing when you're like
fully in, fully committed.
Maybe that's the vibe he was going for, but if that is the vibe and you're only getting 12 clients, let's look at a different vibe.
You know the odds of getting a sword fight as an adult male in your life?
Yeah. If you're recruiting anybody to come to your sword fighting class, you just got to kind of,
Yeah. Well, we tried.
But you did try. I mean, that's the beauty of it. You tried. I need to get Duke into something. Now that he's getting old, he's getting kind of into it. I like it.
Oh, he's into all kinds of stuff.
He's like a human now. Not that he wasn't before, but like he's cool. Like he's like I'm not about the baby phase, especially with like nephews, other people's kids and stuff like that. I think it's nice. I'm going to hold the baby, but after like 10 minutes, when you're just holding the baby, it's still looking at you the same way. But like now, he's getting to the point he can like think and move around, have favorite things. Yeah, I think it's time for me to swoop in and do some stuff. Time for Retail History with Doug.
So, guys, we're talking about the modern retail salon, the concept by franchising by Martha Harper in 1888. Before Harper, hair care was a private affair. Wealthy women had their styled at home, servants or visiting hairdressers, while everyone else simply just managed by themselves. The Harper Hair Parlor, formed by a former domestic servant, opened the first Harper Hair Parlor in Rochester, New York. She transformed the hair care into a public professional experience by introducing several industry standards we still see today. The reclining salon chair, the Harper method, which focused on scalp health and hygiene at the time where most people rarely wash their hair. Franchising, Harper didn't just open one shop. She created a network. By 1920, she had more than 500 Harper Method salons worldwide. She specifically used the business model to help other former domestic servants become independent business owners.
It's funny. That's amazing. I didn't realize that it came from one person like that there was like a big bang of one person. I mean, what a genius. What a genius. And now the funny thing is her method has come the whole way and is still used verbatim. There's really no change. Some changes, technology, stuff like that. But I mean, what a genius. And one thing I learned from looking at this, the rise of the flapper. I knew that there was a flapper. They called people flappers. They called young girls at the time flappers, but I didn't realize what that meant. I just thought it was like some 1920s, whatever. No, it was they all wore that hair and it was like considered the young hair. But the funny thing is that hairstyle is still used by a lot of older ladies today because it's pretty low maintenance. I mean, you get once a week, you go there, you get it done, it's all ready to go, and you're good for like a week or two.
And what's amazing is if you think about the word barber, barber's been around since the medieval time. I mean, so like the men had kind of hair places, and then all of a sudden, 1888, she's like, you know what? Women, and now it's a bigger industry for women than it is for men.
Oh, yeah. I mean, I know that just by I go in and with a tip, maybe I'm at 20, 25 bucks, depending on the place. And, the lady's sitting over there with her hair in some kind of machine and, she's looking at 300 bucks minimum. When I hear like Brand talking to her friends and they're talking about the prices of whatever, I'm thinking, whoa, or I hear girls at work, we work with a lot of women. Like you hear them at work talking about different things. And I'm just like for me, it's like, oh, I think it's $300. That's like a buy-in for a pretty big poker tournament. Or that's like, oh my, it's like 15 cases of beer. You know what I mean? Like from a guy's standpoint, throwing that kind of dollars on something that literally you could go home and or use the old, what was that, Floby? Remember the Floby?
Was that like a bowl thing?
Yeah, you just set it down. It's from Wayne's World for the Wayne's World fans. It sucks. Well, it cuts.
And one last thing about Our Lady, Miss Harper. I mean, bringing up her fellow workers, creating opportunity for them, industry that can basically last over 200 years. Pretty cool. But guys, that was a great episode. It was amazing how we talked about everything from the shift to Ryan's parade to Shelbie Moser and her hometown girl attitude turning to business owner, real estate owner right here in Saxonburg. How cool is that? And how in 1888, a hairdresser turned into a 500 store chain by 1920.
And you know, one thing that's really cool about this episode and all the other episodes involving all the business people, all the politicians, all the influencers, all the people that we've talked to, it's all the same. It's all about just how you brand yourself and whether you're relating to the people and giving the people what they need and creating the right vibe, as Shelby would say, to get people to follow your brand and get people to, you know, sponsor your program and want to work for you.
And don't lose that word, the vibe. I love that. I love that. It's a perfect example. And just like the vibe that our friends at PA Skill Alliance provide for this show, supporting not only just the show, but also our friends in small fraternal orders, people in small business, organizations, and the retailers across the Commonwealth of Pennsylvania, helping keep the lights on, people employed. Our friends at PASkillAlliance.org. And remember, guys, it's skill, not luck, baby.
And make sure, if you don't already, make sure you follow us, hit the subscribe button, hit the follow button on anywhere where you see us. We really appreciate that support, and it helps us to keep on being able to bring the cast to you every single week. So, hey, as always, guys, thank you for all the support. We can't do what we do without you.
Come and see
Come
us.
and see us. Yeah, it's annoying sometimes because you can actually hear the hair of his nostrils in the microphone.
Do you wax yours?
No, I freaking just I take one of those shredders from Walmart. I buy a new one every Christmas, and it's like a freaking it's like a freaking it's like
Like a
weed
weed-
whacking. You just and it all comes out.
It doesn't cut you.
I mean, sometimes. I mean, I don't care.
See, you think it's better than waxing?
Oh my God. 90.
Like you don't want to go.
No.
Really?
Why would you do that? And that can actually cause pimples in the nose.
Oof.